Oh God, I can't see my feet. Oh shit. Oh no, I'm slipping. Oh no.
My name's Elise Wortley and I'm celebrating forgotten women throughout history and adventure. I was never going to truly understand if I was in modern stuff. I couldn't really see what I was doing and it was absolutely terrifying. I'm just thinking, how am I going to actually get up that mountain in this? When I was 16, I found a book called My Journey to Lhasa by Alexandra David Neal. She was an explorer from the early 1900s and I'd never heard of this woman before. So I decided that I would retrace her journey where she went to India and got her first views of Tibet. I realised that I was never going to truly understand what she went through if I was in modern stuff.
Apparently we're going up there.
So I made the decision that I would do the trip exactly how she had it. No modern equipment whatsoever. The same underwear, the boots, wool stockings, and then the big yak wool coat. I got my mum to knit me a hat made of yak wool. It's got these ear flaps.
My ear flap's coming off. We're walking up the Chopta Valley, which is right at the top of Sikkim, really close to the Tibetan border.
So Sikkim is this beautiful mountain kingdom in the north of India. It's nestled deep in the mountains, absolutely surrounded by high peaks, prayer flags everywhere. And it's just got this wonderful, calm vibe. The sun is shining, it's hot, and it's the first time that I experienced the wool sort of rubbing against my skin. And it's really unpleasant and really itchy. And we've got to get up to 5,000 meters. The Dalai Lama said to Alexandra, you need to learn to meditate. So she went to Lachin and met one of the high up monks, and he said, I've got a cave that you can live in for 2 years until you understand this process. Our guide just says, oh, it's there. It's so small, and I'm looking at it thinking, how did she live here for 2 years in the freezing cold through all those winters? It was really quite astonishing to see it. So we try and pay a bit of homage to Alexandra. We tie a scarf in there and we read a bit of her book, and then we have to get down quickly to where we wanted to camp for the night. When I was about 20, I had what they ended up calling general anxiety disorder, which is where you feel like you're having a panic attack, but all day, every day. And this thing just took over my life completely. About 7 years after that started, I just felt really inspired to go, now that I felt a bit better and a bit like I could handle it, and try and get myself out of the rut that I'd got in. We know we've got about 170 kilometres of walking to do to get to Mount Kanchenjunga base camp, the third highest mountain in the world. For me, it was terrifying when the trees start disappearing because they don't grow over a certain altitude, but it also means that you can't have a fire at night because there's no wood.
I woke up and my sleeping bag had this layer of frost on the outside and it was crunching everywhere I moved. And that's the one thing that I've struggled with, that I still don't know how she did it. The cold. And we need to get to the top because we need to see the view that Alexandra would have seen when she was up in the mountains looking over all of Tibet. The visibility is really poor, snow coming down, and if it doesn't clear up, we're not going to be allowed to go on any further than tomorrow.
You're following the Zumu glacier, so you can hear it creaking. It's moving as you're sort of moving along the side of it. And you come out in this incredible, vast, open space. And I start feeling really sick with the altitude.
Starting to feel a bit dizzy again, actually.
And you just feel like you've got the flu and you're trying to climb and climb.
That was honestly one of the hardest walks I've ever done in my life.
It was just the most incredible moment because there were so many times when I thought we were going to have to turn around. We finally get to this spot and we're just greeted by some of the highest mountains in the world.
Oh, wow. We finally made it And these are the same views of mountains that Alexandra David Neal would have seen. I can't believe we're actually here. It's just breathtaking.
Even though I'd faced so many obstacles, I hadn't felt this panic while I'd been doing it, and I'd been in the moment.
I'm warm and I'm alive.
And even though I was tired and ready for a shower, mentally I was feeling the best that I'd felt for a long time. As soon as I landed in the airport and I got back home, my body started to shake and I was getting all my old anxiety feelings back. And I don't know if it's because I'd thrown back into my normal life, hectic in London, full-time work, trying to juggle everything. And I just really regressed to a worse place than I had been for a really long time. During this time, my mum hands me a book called The Living Mountain. It's by Nan Shepherd. And it's just a really beautiful, moving book. And I was just there working at a computer, doing something I hated, just thinking about Nan. So I decided that I would go and spend time alone in these mountains in Scotland, like Nan had done.
So we've got the walking boots from 1940s that lace up to the top. And then this coat is tweed. It's quite warm actually. And then I've got woolen jumper and shirts.
I would only eat war rations and what she would have had available to her at the time. The heavens just open, the rain comes down sideways, and I'm dressed full in wool and it just starts permeating through down to my skin. And I get really worried because you can't be cold in the mountains.
It's just bucketed it down all day, so we're a little bit wet.
And I managed to find a little spot that has like quite a nice big rock. If it carries on raining like this, I can't really walk much. I've got too much stuff. Everything's gonna get wet. So I end up just sort of hiding under this rock for a few days. I'm thinking, why am I here? This is freezing cold. I started to do the thing that I do when I get panicky and check every little detail on my body, like, am I dizzy? Am I shaking? How am I feeling? And the more I did that, the more I was thinking, this isn't right. This isn't what I'm meant to be doing here. I'm thinking maybe it's time to call it a day and go home because actually the rain just doesn't look like it's gonna stop. I was reading passages of Nan's book about the rain and its purpose, and I can really picture them there doing exactly the same thing, and that almost gives me a bit of strength because I'm thinking, well, if Nan could do that in the 1940s and she's here on her own writing this book as she's doing it, then I'm fine now and I will be fine and we will get through it. All of a sudden, the clouds just clear and the sun finally comes out. And it just changes everything. Everything's green and beautiful, and I can finally follow the book and do all the things that I'd wanted to do. Nan has this beautiful passage of going into the water naked and looking into the depths of this loch. And I think it took that 3 weeks of just stopping and just sitting with my brain to understand that I can be calmer and I don't have to constantly check in with myself. And that all came from Nan's writing and spending that time by myself in the wild. I decided that I would do probably the toughest one yet and follow in the footsteps of Henriette d'Angeville, who was the first woman to climb Mont Blanc unaided. I decided that her story was just too good and too unknown, actually, not to try and raise the profile of. This was 1838, so this was a time where if a woman wore trousers in public, she'd had things thrown at her. It's got a button crotch for easy toilet access. It's quite an unusual outfit and it's not necessarily typical of the time. And then the boots. Do you like it?
Awesome.
Just think I look like something from Lord of the Rings. Mont Blanc is the highest mountain in Europe. And although it's seen as one of the more accessible mountains, it's incredibly dangerous. Actually, more people die on Mont Blanc every year than any other mountain. So this is the first time I've ever been on a glacier, crossing it, trying to climb up it. And there's crevasses and they're deep. And they're hard enough to cross if you're in normal trousers, but I was there in these knickerbockers and then this huge dress. So even jumping across the crevasses, I couldn't really see my feet, I couldn't really see what I was doing. And it was absolutely terrifying.
Oh no, I'm slipping. Oh no! Oh God.
Yeah, he's having a good look. Bonjour!
I think I've got the original photo on the wall.
Oh, have you?
I think they were scanned.
Henriette d'Angeville. It really hit home to me when we got to the hut in Mont Blanc. There was 4 women in that hut out of about 60 people. Where are the younger women? Where are the girls? Where are the people that want to come and climb mountains and experience them in this way? So much gear over there. I was completely surrounded by guys in all their gear. They were gearing off. And yeah, it was just this really interesting contrast to what they were focusing on compared to what I was focusing on. It made me realise how important this project is, and to show that women have always been in this space, and they may have been written out of the history books and they may not have been given the press coverage and the book deals that the men did, but it just made it really clear to me how important this journey was. So we get up at 3 AM ready to get to the summit. Karen, my guide, started to look a little bit concerned, looking at her phone, looking at the weather. You don't want to be in a storm up there. And we head out and we follow everyone to the bottom of the next climb. And there's a bit of a queue and we're kind of waiting there. And as we were waiting, Karen looked at her phone again and just looked at me, and I could tell in her eyes that she wasn't going to let us go up. We would have got caught in the storm on the way down, so we just had to pull it and turn round. And it's really hard after everything's built up this moment and kind of halfway up this mountain. It was so gutting, but we definitely made the right decision, and there were actually 4 fatalities on the mountain the day after. So we stood there for a bit and just watched the headlamps of the other people go up, because obviously they're not in the old stuff, so they can do it a lot quicker. Then the 3 of us turned round on our own and headed back down, which was a very slow, sad walk down. We're going to be going back in June and trying to recreate the journey again. But one of the greatest things for me is that it's actually given my life this purpose, and I'm not sure where I would be mentally without it. I don't know where my life would have gone, or what path I would have gone down, or how I would have got out of that really terrible rut that I was in at the time. But over the years, I've built up a bit of a resilience, and I found out who I am more, and it's all through these women really, and doing these trips, and the confidence that I've got from it. It's just turned my life around, and I'm just hoping that women, if they can see other women in these spaces, know that they can do it as well.